All right, we are back here live at Jones Hill House in College Park. It is a Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. And joining us now here live on set, he is the Deputy Athletic Director at the University of Maryland and Chief Revenue Officer. He's Joe LaBue, and he is with us here on GCR. Joe, it's great to see you, sir.
Great to be
Look
here.
at that throwback, Maryland. I got to get one of those.
I don't know whose shirt's better.
Well, I pulled it. The funny thing, too, is people will be like, did you just wear that because you're at Maryland Day? I'm like, you clearly don't know me. I wear this once a week in the summer.
Perfect.
I also heard you guys were having a beach bash.
That's right.
So I thought that maybe this would be like the appropriate thing to wear to celebrate a beach bash here at Maryland.
I won't even call you out if you spill something on it today and wear it next Saturday.
I'm going to do that. That's the way it's going to work. Joe, tell me about your journey being here, how much this means to you to be the Deputy AD, the Chief Revenue Officer here at Maryland.
Yeah, it's still amazing. It's about a year in. So 01 grad. My wife went here too. She's an 05 grad. Wow. So Terps are in our DNA. I've worked in pro sports for the last 25 years. With the changing landscape of college athletics and Jim coming here, he and I, similar backgrounds in the pro world, really felt like this was the right fit for my next step career-wise. And, there's a lot of people in pro sports and in this business that don't get to work for, teams they grew up cheering for, or obviously the school they went to. And, there's pros and cons to that. Sometimes you don't want to see what's under the hood. But for me, I know coming here and just doing what I can do to help will make a huge impact to Maryland athletics. And if I can walk away saying I played a small role in getting us back to where we deserve to be, would be amazing.
So I'm gonna say it this way, and it's gonna to me, and I jokingly, there's no easier way to generate revenue than winning, right? Like nothing drives revenue the way that winning drives revenue. Your job requires you to have to find other ways to do that without that being guaranteed, right? How do you the fine line between, hey, as the Chief Revenue Officer, how do I just help the teams win more because then people are going to want to be here, there's going to be more money spent, versus trying to come up with other concepts, other initiatives, other ways to try to drive revenue? Yeah,
I mean, the formula's simple. I mean, if we have full arenas, full buildings, it definitely helps from a competitive standpoint, helps from a recruiting standpoint in college, helps my, pro background. Free agents, they wanted to go play. They wanted to play in front of full buildings. They wanted to play in front of rabid fan bases. They wanted to, for better or worse, maybe be recognized when they walk down the street, depending on who you talk to. I think with Maryland in particular, for me, we have so much untapped potential. But again, it's not anything that's aspirational. When I was here, we were, cutting down the nets in Atlanta. You know, Brenda was cutting down the nets a couple years later.
Really good time. Going to Peach Bowls.
Yeah, that's right. Sash was getting going. We were in the Orange Bowl. We were, crushing Tennessee in the Peach Bowl, to your point. So again, it can happen here. We all know the talent here, the passion, how much this school means to the region, regardless if you went here or not, had a kid that went here or not. Something about that Maryland flag. And for my role, it's, yes, helping winning, but I can't come to work every single day and be like, well, I hope we win 9-10 games on the football field this year. Here's my plan if we win 10 games. That doesn't work.
Yeah, because you might not. Right.
No.
Exactly right.
So we've taken the approach of fan experience. Jim's talked about it since day one. How do we take CQ Stadium, Xfinity Center, Ludwig Field on Friday nights for men's soccer, in the afternoons for
that
Mike's
atmosphere
program.
is always insane. I feel like just don't screw that up. It's something to do there.
Yes. How do we make that better? So there's been a lot of intentional work over the last 12 months in terms of trying to figure out, what are some easy wins? What are some things that we can do differently to drive fan experience? Because people love Maryland. You just need to give them a reason to come to College Park.
So let's talk about that for football specifically, because I know there's been a lot that you guys have done, some initiatives and the shell. And I know there's been a lot out there. Walk me through what's new this year, what's different, what people will see, and what the idea behind all of these initiatives are.
Yeah, like I said, it was a very intentional approach. we were okay listening to fans. We wanted all the feedback. You know, you don't get into this and knowing you're going to get pats on the back 24/7, 365. It's the exact opposite. Usually the only people you hear from are people who are upset, but that's okay because that gives you direction and things you got to work on. So parking, you know, getting into College Park, we've been very hard at work, working with campus, working with Prince George's County, working with our facilities, getting people here. You know, if that's your first impression of a game day, just something as easy as getting to the stadium.
I have no doubt you heard from a lot of people about that.
That's right. So, you know, with the growth of College Park and everything that's so awesome going on here, it does create a little bit of a logistical challenge. You know, is sort of short-term pain, long-term gain. I mean, this place is unbelievable. I mean, I've said that to everybody coming back here. I've been down in Charlotte for the last 15 years, coming back to College Park. I mean, this city has grown up.
It is wild.
It
right?
is awesome.
Like you just see all of
I mean,
this.
it's amazing, right? So looking at getting in on game days so people will hopefully see something that's just easy, directional signage. You know, how can I use an app to figure out where I need to park? You know, you can go to our app now. We've got an interactive map that'll take you from leaving your driveway to getting into College Park. Once you're in the stadium, whether it's CQ or Xfinity or any of our facilities, where do I get this specific concession item? If I want to buy a T-shirt for my kid, where do I go? So, you know, these are things that basic blocking and tackling, but there's a lot of work. And we know, look, we're not going to get a ton of feedback saying this is unbelievable, but what we're not going to get is maybe some people complaining about it on Monday morning, Tuesday. You know, it's one of these things. It's like the silence is kind of what we want.
If there's less complaints about those things.
That's right. You know you're doing.
If the experience is better. Again, your part, you've handled your part. Yeah. You got other guys around here that are going to try to handle the other part, but you've handled your part. The event, obviously the parking that goes and the traffic, and it goes a long way. And clearly, not trying to pile on, but it has been an issue here. Mm-hmm. There's been no question about that. The actual game day experience and what we're going to see when you show up as Maryland takes on Hampton next week.
Yeah, so inside the stadium, I mean, something as simple as putting televisions in the concourse. You know, I hadn't been back here, and I think I came back here.
It's so funny. I think Griffin and I just reacted the exact same way. We're like, you know, we've never thought about that, but now that you bring it up, what the hell?
Yeah, you're going to buy a beer. You know, and it's like I want to go get a beer, but I might miss a big play too. So there'll be over 50 concourse televisions now. Nice. In terms of game day atmosphere, it's growing on some traditions. The flag drop. I'm really excited for next Saturday. The team intro is going to be electric.
It's cool.
So our content team, our fan experience team, has been hard at work in the lab. You know, we've had a lot of, you know, really good feedback from the football team too. It's not like, hey, we think this is going to be great. Hope you guys like it. We've been working with them too, because you want the authentic excitement when they come running out. So someone from the football staff told me last week, we look like the big boys. This is going to be unbelievable with the lights and the video. So fortunately, it's an 8:00 game against Hampton, so we'll have that one night game experience. We'll be ready for when those guys from Blacksburg.
Yeah,
come up
those
here in a couple
guys.
weeks.
Those guys. Some guy who used to coach around here. Might be making a trip up.
Yep. So it's how are we encouraging fans to get pumped up, get excited. Don't sit down. I understand. Again, we talked about it. The team has a lot to do with that, but we can dictate that too, what music we're playing, what the scoreboard prompts are, you know, the world of partnerships. Nobody just wants to hear a read about the company XYZ. Right. It's how do they what
does that do for me?
Yeah, right. How are they woven into something you're going to remember that's mutually beneficial for the partner, for the fan experience? You mentioned the shell. We've sort of rebranded our student section and student engagement. We know how important that is. Our students have been awesome. I think they've gotten a bad rap recently, and you know, I've come back here, and I think that's a lazy take. I think our students have been very engaged. We saw the best student support we've had in a long time last year through a football season that was 4-8, even basketball season. Got a little lean there, but we understand why. So just sort of rebranding that, fresh start, you know, and you get those freshmen and sophomore on campus that don't know otherwise. They learn, and you want to create those habits right away. We want them to be fully engaged in Maryland athletics from day one, because if you don't get them in their freshman, sophomore year, it's gonna be a tough ask when they're out of here, right?
Yeah, you want to make sure that they're ready to turn around and keep spending money with you forever, and coming back.
We need
and
full
going
buildings,
to
we
games.
need wins, right? So one of the other things we did this year, we're launching the Terp Tank.
Yep.
So Terp Tank Section 16, it is a total high energy section that, yes, we have a dunk tank. We're going to be dunking people on game days.
How's that going to work?
To be
Okay,
determined.
all right.
You'll see.
When you guys announced that,
Yeah.
I was like, but who's getting dunked? Like, do I get to get dunked?
I was just going to say, I think Glenn just signed up.
Wait a second. Now, wait a second here.
So it's one of these things. We've got plans, but, having worked in soccer for so long,
Yeah.
the beauty of a supporter section in soccer is it's owned and organic by the fans in that section.
People that show up to the game. I called DC United games for a little bit,
Yeah.
and like the Barra Brava, you would just see it, and then everybody else that showed up at the stadium would be like, I want to be over.
Correct.
I want to be a part of that. I want to feel that. I know the Orioles have been doing that with the splash zone
Exactly.
and that concept, and so it's creating that. Like, this is a passionate place, and your kids see it, and you're like, yeah, I want to be a part of it.
So-
there's a really important person that's going to come by and join us in a minute. Not to say you're not,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not to say you're not, Joe. But I do want to ask specifically about Baltimore, because that's where we are.
Yes.
And the Ravens coming down here to host a practice, which became this like almost contentious, like, well, is Maryland, they care more about Baltimore? I'm like, this is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for people in our area, they've always wanted to say, hey, what is Maryland reaching out to Baltimore? And you're playing a basketball game again at the arena this year. And I know this is not all you. Some of this is just the teams, doing these things. But how intentional has that been? These things, these public-facing things that we've seen that are related to Maryland athletics in Baltimore.
We can't say we're the flagship university of the state, not be intentional about understanding there's an entire state outside of PG County.
Yeah.
The roots in Baltimore, not only from alumni, fans, student athletes, it's a special relationship. We talked about getting to College Park. We need to get over the fact that, it's 45 minutes to an hour potentially on a game day, right? We understand that.
So you got to make that more. You got to make that more simplistic.
But
right?
we need to show up in places where people are. We need to say, hey, we need your support, and we'll support you back. That's why having the game against South Carolina in December is going to be great. We were there at Coppin State last year too, but we want to continue to be there.
This being a Saturday, Griffin and I were talking about this is a Saturday right before the holidays.
Yeah.
Kids out of school. This is a perfect opportunity for you. Bring up fans, not even alumni, just people in that area that want to be Maryland fans.
That's right.
To say, I've got an opportunity to take my kids, spend a Saturday this way. It's a massive win. That's a big win.
There's no pretentiousness around here, whether you went here or not. You're a Terp. You live whether you're born here or you live here now. This is your state. This is your team. It's Big Ten college athletics. And if anyone's going to say the Big Ten isn't the biggest and baddest on the planet, then again, you're wrong.
Right now, three straight national championships.
The stats would show otherwise.
So
we're coast to coast, and coming here to College Park, there's something special about college athletics, and there's something great about being in the Big Ten too, because you're seeing the best of the best every single week. And we take representing the state really seriously. So Baltimore is a massive part of this state, obviously, and we are going to continue to look for ways to do things. I think the Ravens were smart. The marketing boundaries were, they're no more. So why wouldn't you take that opportunity? That's fine. If Commanders fans are upset about it, then
the Commanders can reach
they can
out.
do
It's
something
not
about it too. That's right.
I didn't get the sense that it was you guys saying like they're not welcome here or anything like that.
That's right. We're, that's the beauty.
I think I saw Stephon Diggs out here running around on the field a minute ago after he had signed with the Commanders.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we're welcoming of all, whether you're wearing burgundy and gold or purple and black on Sundays. You can come and support the Terps on a Saturday, and that's the approach we need to have, because we've got a lot of work to do to build that brand equity back up in the marketplace. And like I said, it's building it back up. It's not like it's never been done before. So I don't want anyone to think that we're coming here to do anything that's groundbreaking. It's more of just taking this entity that I love and so many love, and treating it right.
I love that. Joe LaBue, you're a perfect person for this role, and your passion is appreciated. I think everybody in Baltimore appreciates that connection and wants to see more of that moving forward. And so appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us and telling us more about what we're going to see this year during football season. Thank you for stopping by.
No, appreciate you guys being in College Park. Means a ton.
Oh, you want to try a spicy pickleball before you run away? These are
Yeah.
I brought these for everybody. They're actually really good, man. This has been a win.
They look great.
This has been a win. We'll see. Let's see.
Oh yeah,
these are good, right?
They are really
this
good,
one,
actually.
this one works.
I mean, if you're not a dill fan, you're done from the start.
What are you doing with your life?
What
are you doing with your life if you're not a dill fan?
Right, and the spiciness is
it's perfect.
It's perfect, actually.
Joe, great to meet you, man. Thank you for coming over and hanging out with us.
All right, fellas.
Joe
Thanks.
LaBue, Deputy AD, Chief Revenue Officer here at Maryland. Appreciate him checking in and spending some time with us. Behind